So back in the day when I wrote this book, I'd actually written the Scala Cookbook before that. And what I wanted to note in this book is that this is a very different book than the Scala Cookbook, and therefore this course is going to be very different than the Scala Cookbook. So the essence of the Scala Cookbook is here's a common problem and here's a solution or multiple solutions to that problem, which again, are a series of recipes. Conversely, this book and this course are completely different. So for me, the first version of this book was the reporter metaphor I talked about before. And I had a lot of background in object-oriented programming. And I mentioned that when I went to the Lambda conference in 2014, I realized I didn't know as much about functional programming as I thought, and I really wanted to learn a lot more. So I became this object-oriented reporter. I was traveling through the functional programming forest. I was trying to find my way through there and trying to understand, oh, look, oh, okay, aha, here's a little piece of knowledge. Here's a piece of knowledge over here. And I made all these notes as I went through there. And fortunately for me, I made it to the end of the forest. And at that time, in 2015 through 2017, that was a really dense forest, I want to let you know. But I did make it through the end of the forest. I got to the end. I organized all my notes, and then I was able to put all those notes into this book right here. So again, this is the reporter metaphor I was talking about before. I'm just reporting what I find and trying to report it in the best way I can. And a really important point, kind of like as I would say in what was it, Star Trek, I'm a doctor, not a something or another. Well, here I'm a reporter, I'm not a salesman, or in this video course, I'm a teacher, I'm not a salesman. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. If you don't like functional programming, of course, you can turn off the video and you're free to walk away at any time. I'm just trying to teach you a different way of programming that I think it's good and I think it's important. So again, I am a teacher in this particular case and not a salesman. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. And as I mentioned earlier, I want you to question everything. So if I was teaching this course live, I would love to have you question everything as we're going along so we can discuss why it is that we're doing what we're doing here. But since this is a pre-recorded video, we can't quite do that. But I still encourage you to question everything, and hopefully I'll provide the answers as we go along. And I kind of note that here, after I sold my business, I first moved to Alaska. I loved it there. Then I went to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I really loved that town and immediate area, the plaza, the amazing food, the old architecture, and everything about that. And I was like, oh my God, I want to live here too. And after a lot of consideration about both Alaska and Santa Fe, I finally decided that probably the best thing for me at that time was just a vacation in those places from time to time and also bring home some nice souvenirs as I found them. And the same is true about this video course. You may decide to move into the functional programming land, or you may decide that you just like a few souvenirs. You may decide that, oh, okay, pure functions are really, really nice. Immutable data structures are really nice. I'm going to use those as often as I can. Or, when you're writing pure functions, their signatures really are what Al said. They really are more meaningful. So I'm going to use those as much as I can. But you may choose to write most of your code in an object-oriented style. And again, that choice is yours. I'm not a salesperson. I'm just trying to teach you what I can in the best way I know. And then you can use whatever you want. If you fall in love with functional programming and you want to use all of it, that's awesome. If you love a couple of pieces here and you just want to take some souvenirs back with you, that's awesome too.